Fitzy, obviously a couple signings yesterday. Let's start with Jake Allen, being able to keep him in the fold, especially how good that tandem was last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to have Jake back and his family back in New Jersey where they wanted to be and where we wanted them. I give Jake and Shannon a lot of credit for helping us through this process, cap-wise, but it just shows you that we're building something here where people want to stay. And it says a lot about Jake and his family, and we're just so excited to bring him back.
Well, kind of touching on that, too, because when he talked, he said when he first got the jersey, he didn't know if he was going to like it, how it was going to be, and you guys sold him on wanting to be here. What does that speak about the organization?
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago at the deadline, I called him up before we traded for him to convince him to come here, that you will be very surprised how happy you will be here, and we're building a good team. And he reminded me of that conversation yesterday, so it was nice.
And Connor Brown, Dadonov, obviously two guys that can really help bolster some of the depth here.
Yeah, we just wanted to add to the middle of our lineup where try to add some depth scoring ability. Connor Brown's a guy who can move around your lineup. He gives you speed, a fantastic penalty killer. He's a guy that Sheldon will use at the end of games as well, kind of like a Swiss jackknife. So really excited about him. And again, I'm sure he had offers to go somewhere else, and it's nice when you get kind of handpicked and you can start a conversation and you sense the excitement of a player, not even knowing about New Jersey or other than knowing our team, other than we have a good team that wanted to be here. So that was great. The Dadonov, same thing. When we were kind of trying to fit pieces into the puzzle, it just made so much sense on a performance-based contract where he could fit in and earn some more money. So, again, another guy that gives us flexibility, versatility throughout the lineup.
And I know you're probably not looking at this specifically, but Connor Brown last 2 years went to the Stanley Cup final, the Dadonov 3 straight conference finals, having that kind of playoff pedigree.
Yeah, Connor, the last 2 years, actually. So it's, they have that, and they're hungry to win. That's a terrible situation to go all that way, and I've been there and come up short.
What's your initial impression now, Tom, of the team when you look at the additions that you made yesterday and who you might have coming up, Ritzik and those players?
Yeah. Well, we're excited. We're excited. I think we're a faster team. I think we've added the skill and the excitement of watching Gritsuk or Lenny or even a Shane LaChance come into camp and show us, make it hard on us to send them down. They're all different. They all have NHL upside. Gritsuk will be the one that we're really excited to see when he comes over here. How can he adapt? He'll be here mid-August to adapt. They tell me he's got upside over Dadonov at the same age, and it'd be nice for Dadonov to mentor him.
When will Lenny come over?
Same, yeah. They didn't come over obviously because of their schedules and ending so late. Lenny, in particular, with the World Championships, it didn't make sense for him to fly over, take away from his training, because really that's the most important thing right now for players like that.
At the end of season conference, Tom, you had mentioned something about depth scoring, and you were asking yourself, what is depth scoring? You talk to your analytics people. So, kind of, what did you learn from that point to now, and looking at the additions that you made yesterday?
Well, I think the one thing that we were looking for is 5-on-5 play. And you look at the goals totals of Brown and Dadonov, and majority of their goals are 5-on-5. Not sure we found the answer to the question. Is it shooting percentage in the playoffs? Is it getting on a hot streak? Is it the amount of chances you get? Eventually, goals will fall in. We just felt like we definitely added to what we felt we needed to add to in that depth. So, again, you want players. Years are going to go up and down. You just hope you can get players to level out and be consistent with their play from October to the end of the season.
As the summertime now goes on, do you have any updates on several of the players who were injured, underwent surgery towards the end of the season, like Jack, Luke?
Yeah, they're all progressing great. everything I've been told is he'll be ready for the start of the season.
Are there any updates on Luke's contract extension?
No, but that's my number one priority
Okay,
right
and then
now.
with Jake being signed long-term, what's the long-term plan for Nico Dawes?
Well, I mean, you guys, you see how often goalies are going down. Having depth in the net is crucial. Nico's a guy, you know, he played, 5-6 games last year. Definitely played too early in his career, but out of necessity. We really like Nico, but we feel like having this depth makes us a better team.
Okay, and then for Dawson Mercer, we see how effective he is with his penalty killing, the 200-foot game. Is there another level offensively you want to see from Dawson?
Again, I think when you talk about your depth scoring and your consistency, scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in this league. It's playing the right way, consistently getting to the dirty areas, and he's a guy that doesn't shy away from those areas. So, you see a lot of his goals are right around the crease. So that tells me get to the crease more, so you have a chance to score. But I think Dawson. I mean, he didn't have a bad year. He didn't score 27 goals like he did a few years back. But we just expect consistency out of him every day. I got to remember too. He didn't start camp with us last year. We've got a brand new coach. Maybe there was some conditioning issues. Just everything was new. And got probably caught behind the 8 ball a little bit. Now he's coming in fresh, and we're really excited to see, where his game's going. The emphasis on getting stronger in the off season was part of our year-end talk, and it was not asked, it was demanded, and he knows. He's been in the league now for quite some time.
Are you still in the market for a center?
My number one priority right now is signing Luke Hughes.
And in terms of over the last few days, we found out some things that it could be in the new CBA once it obviously gets ratified, one being the net guard protection. Just what's your take on that coming in since you are such a strong proponent for it?
Oh, I think it's great. To me, it's no different than the helmet. It's no different than the half shield. I just think kids, they won't even realize they're wearing it, just like the helmet and the shield for players in the past. I think it's a great start for the league, and anytime you can continue to look after your players, especially young players now, as they grow into the league, and help them stay protected, but more importantly, educate them on the different type of things that are out there that can help them.
Tom, how is Kovacevic doing, and what's the timeline there?
He definitely won't start the season, but he's doing great.
You mentioned faster. Was adding speed a big point of emphasis for you?
I don't know if it was an emphasis. I'd like to just see our entire team play faster, move pucks quicker, attack quicker, counterattack quicker. I look at our team a few years back. We moved pucks up quick and we attacked, and I think we got away with that 2 years ago. This past year, new coach coming in, but speed. I think speed kills. Anytime you can add that, it can only help you.
What does success look like for the 25-26 Devils?
I would say, be healthy going into the playoffs. Feeling good about your game as the season ends. You feel like you're going this way and getting stronger. And then, to me, our goal is to win a Stanley Cup. If you ask that question to 31 other teams, they're going to tell you the same thing. I think just being a team that can be committed, be accountable, and consistent is all we ask. And then the puck drops and you play the game.
What were your thoughts on the decentralized draft?
Great question. I voted to have a decentralized draft. I'm definitely open to going back. I guess the reason I voted that way was travel. You got to remember, I don't know when this started, but the Stanley Cup is being handed out later and later, seems every year, and the draft follows it shortly thereafter, and then July 1st. So the draft used to be the third week of July, and then you had a week to prepare, right? Close to a week. The travel back from, Western, whether it was Vegas or LA at the time, it really hurt us back here. Like you're getting in, you're taking red eyes back, whatever. So I just looked out for like how our experience was with it, and just said I'd rather just wake up in my own bed. The other part, too, I found was communication with teams. You know, when you're out east and you're trying to get a hold of a team out west, you usually have to wait till working hours or not calling at 9 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock out west, and you waited, you got to wait. And I enjoyed being on the same time zone and be able to just pick the phone up. But that's me being nitpicky. But I'm open to anything.
Richie, the shop never closes, so anything can happen. Your phone is
sure.
charged and ready to take calls. But how would you assess where you are right now and what you have and what you think you look in camp with? In other words, are things still bubbling? Do you expect much more?
Again, my number one priority is Luke Hughes. And, you know, what I do with Luke Hughes will determine, you know, what else I possibly could do. If we went into the season with this group of players, again, we touched on Gritsuk and the excitement we see, and hopefully he comes into camp, and can he be a top 6 player? Can he be immediate help? I don't know. But having, you know, the depth and adding a Donoff and a Brown helps do that. Cody Glass, you know, having him for the start of the season versus grabbing him at the end of the trade deadline, I think we'll see a better player. Well, I say a better player, a player that's more comfortable now in his surroundings. But then again, it's Lamico is another guy that we brought in, you know, to help with that depth. Big 6'3" can skate. Can he help? Can he be a younger Lars Eller type guy who can help us with, you know, D-zone faceoffs, penalty kill? He's got the size. So there's a lot of unknowns, but a lot of excitement that comes with that.
Two guys who there is some unknown about, Neich and Casey. You know, they've come up, they've gone back down, back and forth a little bit. What are your expectations for them this upcoming season?
Well, I think, you know, Neich last year got off to a slow start. He was injured at the Olympic qualifiers before Labor Day. He probably would say he wasn't in the best shape because of the injury and could continue to do what he needed to do to come into a really hard training camp, the hardest he's ever had. He knows what to expect. We loved where he ended, where his game was, and he looked like the player that what we thought we were drafting. So really excited about his growth. Sheamus, same thing. Like he's still a young player in this league, and understanding it. You know, you look at the experience Neich has the last 4 years or 3 years. Sorry, Sheamus will get that experience. Again, it's always nice to have depth, especially right shot D.
You mentioned Luke's name 3 times already. I'm just curious though. After tendering him, what are the vibes you get from his camp in wanting to be a Devil?
Oh, I mean, I talked to his agent yesterday. We said let's enjoy your holiday weekend, and we'll get back. We'll start talking after the week. I mean, he's excited. He wants to be a Devil long term, just like his brother did. So we're excited about that. You know, I think just to go back to Jake Allen, you know, players want to stay here. And they want to stay in New Jersey. They want to be in New Jersey. They want to be part of something that we're creating here. But also know that the standards are getting higher and higher and higher each and every year, but which is exciting for us. So no, Luke, I don't sense anything other than he wants to be a Devil for a long, long time.
Just to confirm, the UFAs that you started with yesterday, the only 2 you're interested in bringing back are Dennis and Jake, who you have signed. The rest of them are all on the market?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Do you have a concrete plan for which level Malik's going to start at?
Yeah, I mean, at the American League, you know, give him an opportunity to hold down a job there, or even compete for that job in the starters in the net. You know, he's been playing pro hockey now for a few years. Has had some ups and downs, but being over here and finding consistency in his game, and our goalie development team working with him, yeah, we're excited about him and other goalies that we have in the system.
To build off that, what can you say about what Yegorov's done at BU?
It's exciting. You know, it's a name that always comes up at the trade deadline, and we know we have a good one there. The thing about goalies, you just don't know when they're going to arrive. But he's got a great personality. He loves the game, and he's good, and that's exciting.